Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about why you are not yet able to conceive. You might be a male, you might be a female, but just join the video. Please subscribe, like the video and share it. The most important bit is you subscribe. Just press that red box, rectangular box on your screen and just tap it. You'd have subscribed to my channel and it means a lot to me. So without wasting time, let's get into the video. So today's topic is, why aren't you conceiving yet? This is a question that is coming up these days, and in this video I'm going to be talking about what is infertility, or why, like if you're not conceiving, we call it infertility. But when do we call it infertility, and how long can someone be infertile before they can get pregnant again? Then the other thing I'm going to be talking about is what is exactly causing your infertility. So there are many reasons as to why people experience that season of being infertile, but then all of them might not be on one person. But then if there is any and you can be able to modify or know more about it, then please just continue with the video and you will get all those answers there. Infertility is when you are not able to conceive after trying for a year, or after trying to conceive for a year. So that is when we diagnose infertility. But do not forget that infertility is not a conclusive diagnosis. No one can say that you are infertile and you can never get pregnant. That is so hard, except when they've done investigations and your doctor or gynecologist has been convinced that this person cannot conceive. However, most people, it is just temporarily. So if you're in that period of not being able to conceive, some people come after 2 months, some people come after 3 months, some people come after 6 months, some people even come after 2 years. So whichever time you come, we counsel you and let you know what is going on, or we let you know if you can wait a bit longer, or if you can modify some few things in your diet or in your lifestyle, or the way you've been monitoring your cycle. Now this is for women. However, the factors we are talking about here, we are going to talk about here, are both to the women and to the males. Sorry about the background noise. I'm not home alone and there are other people at home. Hopefully they don't overshadow my voice and you'll be listening to them more. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is lifestyle. I'm going to divide them into basically 3 or 4 factors that are related to infertility. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, lifestyle. Lifestyle, these are the things that we do daily, occasionally, but they're part of our lives. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is what we eat. What we eat, usually the nutrition is no better, but then as an individual, you have to look at what you eat. Is it nutritious for your body? Do you require those things in your body, or is it safe for you to eat? So sometimes I might eat bread in the morning, bread in the afternoon, bread at night. I've eaten, but it's not nutritious enough to my body. Then the other day you eat maize breakfast, posho lunch, supper, cassava. And then you're not blending other things into your dieting. So usually this is much better if someone can. Okay, if you want me to talk about that, please comment in the section below. That shall be a topic for another day. But what you eat. So every time you get your plate, make sure that what is on that plate is really relevant for your body. We know we need vitamins, we know we need micronutrients, we know we need carbohydrates, we know we need proteins. So make sure that every time you receive your plate, you have vitamins on the plate, you have vegetables, at least you have a balanced diet. But then don't overeat, because when you overeat, you will go into the other, either being overweight or underweight. Usually when we see ourselves, we can't judge ourselves that I'm overweight, but it is good for you to calculate your body mass index and find out if you're overweight. Maybe that is the only reason as to why you're not yet conceiving. Then also people who are underweight is equally bad. Your body is undernourished, so it might also affect your reproductive system. Then the other thing is that in your lifestyle, you might be that person who does self-medication, who abuses drugs, or who abuses like our drinks we have. So in this medicine side, I'm talking about people who do drugs like marijuana, people who do, I don't know, many drugs. I'm not going to say marijuana basically, but if you abuse drugs, cocaine, maybe those drugs are affecting your body. Then for people who drink, people who live a sedentary lifestyle, like you're always drinking, it might affect you or affect your reproductive system, or in the long run it affects your reproductive system. Why does it that what we drink or eat affects our reproductive system? So for example, if you drink, the liver is affected, it's not able to take out toxins, and then those toxins affect your ovaries or your sperms. So just make sure that in the lifestyle box you tick everything. You eat well, don't drink too much or don't drink at all. If you can live without drinking, then don't smoke. And then make sure you're within the normal ranges of weight. Don't be underweight and don't be overweight. Then the other thing that we are going to be talking about is the reproductive system itself, for both women and for both males. So the factors that may be affecting you, maybe your reproductive system has a problem, but that shouldn't worry you, because most of those problems can be solved, at least most of them, unless when they can't be solved, because in medicine that part is also there. But we hope, and for the reproductive system, we think that many people can be able to reproduce. So I'm going to majorly talk about women. So the women, let me say it briefly. Your cervix might have an issue. The cervix is the opening of the reproductive system. So it might be too tight, like it might be too tight that the sperms cannot go through. And then the other thing is that your uterus lining or uterine lining has a problem. That problem may be a disease. The uterine lining might be already in menopause, or it might have any other issue that is affecting it or that is refusing you from conceiving. Then the other people, the uterine lining does not thicken enough for a fertilized egg to implant. So there are people who actually keep getting early miscarriages that are even not noticed, because by the time you're expecting your periods, that is around the same time you're implanting, or that is when implantation takes place. So if the uterine lining is not favorable for implantation, the uterine lining, nothing will implant on the uterine lining because it's not favorable enough. Then the other thing I'm going to talk about is fallopian tubes. We know when we leave the uterus, then we go to the fallopian tubes. You have two tubes. So if those tubes have a problem, especially narrowing, then you might not be able. Then that might be the cause of you not conceiving yet. So you have to go to your doctor, they assess you, they examine you, and really find out if you have a problem with the fallopian tubes. Usually if they are narrow, you either get a tubal pregnancy, or what they say is alternatively, if it is not that, you might not be actually able to conceive at all, because the fallopian tubes are too narrow. Then what they do, you go to the hospital, talk to your doctor. If that is a test they want to do and they realize your problems are related to the fallopian tubes, they usually put you under a dye. No, usually they first flush them. So if they flush them and you try again for 6 months and you're not conceiving, that is when usually they do the dye test. They put a certain dye in you and then do an x-ray or sonograph, and they really see if your fluid is able to move into your fallopian tubes. Then the ovaries themselves might have a problem. The problem might have risen from maybe drugs that you took, or your body is stressed that you're not able to take in enough nutrients. The body is not well nourished for the ovaries to be produced and to be fertile enough. Then the other thing I'd not talked about, but now I'm going to bring it up, it is stress. Stress would be in lifestyle. So stress is majorly divided into three. We have physical stress. So for people who are physically under stress, for example, you do too much exercises or vigorous exercises, you might not be able to conceive. Then people who are having emotional stress, this is related to what you think at work. Is it work bothering you? Is it family? So usually those things that are stressing you emotionally may affect your reproductive cycle. Then the other thing, the other type of stress is physiological stress. Physiological stress is on the body. So this is physiological stress. This is when your body is going under stress, or the functionality of your body is under stress, because physiology is function of the body. So if the function of the body is distorted or disturbed, that may be the thing that is hindering you from conceiving. So physiological stress or functional stress, that is related to maybe you had a surgery, maybe you're receiving some treatment, maybe you have an ongoing disease like cancer, you have maybe diabetes, you have hypertension, you have any chronic illness, or even a temporary illness that is refusing you to conceive. And then the other thing is sometimes infections. Women usually get infections, and those infections stay for long, and then they become resistant, and then they affect the fallopian tubes and they narrow into PID, pelvic inflammatory disease. And sometimes after that illness, or during a pelvic inflammatory disease, you have, how should I say, fibrosis in the easiest way. You have scarring, your fallopian tubes are all scarred, then also your uterus is affected. So if you have that, or if you have chronic infections, or if you had chronic infections, they might hinder you from, they might be the ones hindering you from conceiving. Then the other thing is a hormone called prolactin. Prolactin is in breastfeeding mothers. That's why many women that are breastfeeding are not able to conceive, at least in the first 3 months, if you're exclusively breastfeeding. I don't know why these days, even after 1 month, for a mother who is exclusively breastfeeding, most of them get their periods. But long time ago, at least, people who are breastfeeding would even go for 1.5 years without conceiving. So usually someone might not be breastfeeding, but then they have too high, or their prolactin levels are high. So if that hormone is high in the body, it is just simply communicating to your uterus, to the brain first, and then it is like, do not release any ova, or do not release any egg. I'm breastfeeding, I'm not going to deliver. That's usually what the body is communicating. So you have to find out if that is the issue, if your prolactin levels are okay or are high. Then the other thing is that maybe you're not ovulating. Many women ovulate, but then there are some who do not ovulate for some reason. So if you're not ovulating, you cannot be able to conceive. Your body might also at the same time be resistant to insulin. So people who have insulin issues or insulin resistance can also be temporarily not being able to conceive because of that reason. Then there is also what they call polycystic ovarian disease. So many people do not know, but then some people are diagnosed of it. But then that PCOS, we shall talk about it later because it's broad. It is not like one thing you say, this is the problem. Usually they look at different things that are affecting, or that, like, they have a category. Let me say there are 10 things that they consider. So if you have more than 50% of what is there, then they consider it to have polycystic ovarian syndrome, not disease. Thank you so much for watching. If you've liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Nurse Maria. Bye-bye.